Hi, my name is Stanley. I'm here to provide you with some tips for cruising on Royal Caribbean cruises. I've been on Anthem, I've been on Oasis of the Seas most recently. I'm not trying to sell you anything, I'm not a travel agent. My genuine purpose is just to give you information that may be useful for you and that was useful for me. So, most recently, I booked a cruise for my daughter and I on Oasis maybe 3 weeks before our sail date. So that means my boarding time was 1:30. I had my time dining, which we didn't like. So I decided just to call Royal Caribbean to see if I get somebody on the phone and maybe make some of those changes, get on the ship a little bit earlier. We had sort of a wacky vacation where we were going to Disney first, and then we drove down to Miami, stayed the night, and then had nowhere to go in the morning. So we really wanted to get on the ship. I mean, everybody wants to get on the ship early, but we didn't have anywhere to go. So we really wanted to get on the ship early. With this 1:30 time, we would have literally had to sit in the port probably for a couple hours before we were able to board. So I called Royal Caribbean for a number of reasons. One is that I had a guaranteed balcony stateroom, which meant I wasn't assigned. Because I had reserved so late, I didn't even know if I had a boardwalk or an ocean view. So my priority was to get an ocean view, and that was the reason for my initial call. So I got in touch. I was on hold for hours. I was on hold for 10 minutes at the most. And I got in touch with this really, really nice person. I actually called a couple times, and both times that I called, I spoke with just the nicest person in the world. And, I was obviously very nice to them as well. So my first question was whether or not I had a ocean view or a boardwalk balcony. She assured me that I had an ocean view stateroom, balcony stateroom. Literally 10 minutes after I hung up with her, I got an assigned stateroom. It was 6268. So anybody who's been on Oasis before, 6268 is off the promenade. We're up these stairs, around the elevators, and it's literally straight ahead. It's an unobstructed view. You're obviously on the lower part of the ship, but there's no lifeboat underneath you. It was just a perfect location. It was right near the stairs. We don't do elevators. There were stairs right there. So one advantage to calling was that she gave me a stateroom right the second after I got off the phone. The bigger issue was that I wanted to get an earlier check-in time. And so she tells me that there's no need for her to try to get an earlier check-in time. She said just to show up. Show up whenever you want to show up, and they're not going to turn you away. Of course, told me no guarantees, but really just show up, and it's not a problem at all. You'll get on. Asked her if I had to buy a key in order to make that happen, and she said no. She literally didn't try to upsell me. So that morning, I must have gotten, like email after email and text after text saying, don't come to the terminal earlier than your appointed time. Watching YouTube videos, don't go to your terminal before the appointed time. And so there were all these messages that were just making me nervous as can be, because my plan was to get there. My plan was to check out and go straight to the terminal. Maybe 10 in the morning, as early as I possibly could. And so that's what we did. Whether if I had to sit in the terminal for a couple hours and get turned away, then we were going to do that. But it was nothing. I mean, we got there at 10 o'clock. I gave the stewards my bags. Make sure you tip the stewards. It's one of the places you really need to tip. I give them $20. I don't know what other people give them. But for sure, the people who take your bags, you should tip. I don't know why that is, but you should tip them. In any event, I was super nervous. I was ready to have my whole story ready that we travel all this traveling stuff and had nowhere to go, and we would sit down if we needed to sit down before we got on. It took 20 seconds to get checked in, and a minute later we were boarding. My daughter and I were boarding the ship. I mean, there was literally nothing to it. So, I mean, I'm not trying, I don't want you to cheat the system, and obviously I know that if everybody did this, then it would be a nightmare. But if you run into a situation like we did where you just don't have anywhere to go, and you're not really inconveniencing anyone else, then the Oasis of the Seas is concerned, and that booking with those people there, it was completely a non-issue. I don't even think she looked at our boarding time, the entire check-in time. The other thing is disembarkation. So disembarkation, an amazing tip that I have for you is that, we were about to do the exact same thing that everybody else seems to do, which is you get your tags and you put your tags onto the your big luggage, and you roll that out into the hall. If you hold on to your luggage, in other words, if you don't put your luggage in the hall and you're planning to walk off the ship, there's supposed to be a whole procedure for, if you do keep your luggage, and the order of getting off the ship doesn't exist. We went to breakfast at like 7 o'clock, came back to the room, grabbed our bags at maybe 7:20, and just walked off the ship. I was outside getting an Uber within 15 minutes of being in our room. I mean, I don't even know where there were customs, to be honest with you. All of a sudden, we were just rolling our bags, and before you know it, I was on the street and calling an Uber. If everybody in the world did this, that would be a problem. Some people like to stay on the ship longer. We were flying back. We had to take an Uber to the airport. And the effect of getting off the ship at 8:30 in the morning it changed the whole day. I mean, we walked outside. I called an Uber, and an Uber was there in 4 minutes. There was no traffic getting to the airport. In any event, those are the tips that I have for you for embarkation and disembarkation. Call the cruise line before you go on your cruise, and just have a conversation with somebody. Go through all of your different potential issues, to make your vacation as good as you possibly can. The second is hold onto your luggage. Just take your luggage with you. Go have breakfast in the Windjammer, and then grab your luggage and leave. And you're going to be ahead of a lot of people, and you're not going to be waiting in lines. If you like staying on the ship, stay on the ship. But if we had used our tags, I would not have been able to get off until 8:40, I think was our disembarkation time, and that could have potentially risked our flight. So, in any event, thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like. I'm starting to make not only travel videos, but on my other channels, I'm creating legal videos because I enjoy it, and I enjoy sharing my experiences, and we have quite a bit of them in our family. So thank you very much for watching.